What is up, everyone? I'm so sorry. We tried this new countdown system, and it really got
and it
to
worked
me.
perfectly.
It did. It did. I started laughing immediately at the time you told me to talk.
But look,
hey
we're
guys,
here.
what's up? It's Press Play again. It's all of us. We're here. We're here to discuss a brand new show we're so excited to talk about and be a part with y'all. It's gonna be Loki. If you couldn't tell by the title and the reason you searched this.
Wait,
Anyway.
the episode's gonna be Loki? Or like we're doing the Oh,
You mean like
I
low
gotcha.
key?
Yeah.
You freaking. He
Okay,
gets me
I
every
got it, I
time.
got it.
It's me, Bailey, joining always with Matt, Austin, and Omar Zaki. I usually say Matthew. That was weird.
I know you're gonna throw people off.
I'm really thrown off right now. That countdown really, Matt was just like, he said 5 and then silently counted with his fingers and then was going to hold up his fist to tell me to go. Completely. I just was like about to explode that entire time.
In theory, it seemed like it'd be easier than it was, but throw numbers into anything and countdowns and just my brain stops working.
But what's up? We're here. We're back. We're talking Marvel again. I think the thing that we're drawn to most is either Marvel or DC. It's like our souls are connected to it.
I think it's each other. I think we're drawn to each other, but
and then Omar comes in with the cuteness. Look at my but before we get into the actual episode, I'm here to tell you guys that you can listen to us on not anything other. Please listen to us on YouTube as well. But you can also listen to us on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Apple Podcasts. Leave us 5 stars. I'm going to literally say that every single episode until someone leaves us 5 stars. And then you can also follow us on Twitter at AgainPress and Instagram at PressPlayAgain. We post fun shit. We might post fun shit at some point on Facebook. I will let you know when that happens. So far, it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. We mentioned it like last episode, so I thought I'd throw it out there. But I'm also not against not doing it. So yeah, and I see you agree. So you guys agree. But yeah, we're gonna be posting. So this is our first official Loki episode. We're gonna be coming back every week with the new Loki episodes. We're recording them the day it comes out, baby. So y'all are getting it the night it comes out. Be ready.
I know, this is a big step for this podcast.
This is a big step. We're going to be on time. And then we're still going to be doing Monday mornings. You're going to get the Bad Batch. And then new movies that come out whenever we can record them. So that's our schedule so far. But anyway, shall we dive into the episode? I'm going to say, first of all, didn't know this until I looked it up because I clearly don't pay attention. The first episode's called Glorious Purpose. I think that's a really cool title. I actually really like it.
Yeah.
He says that a couple times, so.
Does it?
Yeah.
I swear I watched the episode. No, I think that's really cool. I'm really liking Bad Batch. I think is doing great with its titles. I hope this kind of stays on the same level. I don't know why. Titles really get me. Anyway, Omar, what was your first thoughts of this episode?
My first thoughts out of WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki.
Comparing already.
No. Well, kind of. Loki was the least I was looking forward to. The absolute least. I was hyped about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was excited about WandaVision, which ended up blowing me away. Loki, I mean, yeah, okay, like I'm an MCU fan. It's cool. I'm, it's gonna be in the same universe and everything. I'm ready for it. But my expectations, my hype levels weren't really there. In terms of premieres, in terms of first episodes, this takes the fucking cake. This blew me. Dude,
there
amazing.
It is.
10 out of 10. Some of the best MCU stuff I've seen to date. And that's all I'm going to say for now until we dive in.
Oh my God. He left us on a cliff and we're just dangling there till we can hear the rest of the explanation. I love it. And then Matt always has to do the visual representation. Anyway, Matt, what'd you think?
I'm right there with Omar. I think this was utterly fantastic. I think this one episode was the best episode of WandaVision, better than the best episode of WandaVision, better than the best episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think this was the best episode of any of these MCU shows yet. Straight up. The trailer for Loki interested me the most out of all these shows, so I was really excited for this. So I did have high expectations, but oh my God, it blew them out of the water. I can't wait to talk about this because I thought this was just utterly fantastic. It was so good.
Guys, I can hear in y'all's voice by the way y'all described it, like how y'all feel, how absolutely excited y'all are about this, and I'm living off of it. Like it's feeding me energy. Anyway, I agree. I thought this was phenomenal. I thought this was the coolest way to do a show for Marvel. Like it feels so different than Marvel because of what they're playing with.
Yes.
And we haven't gotten to see any of that at all yet. So even though you think you got introduced to it in WandaVision, no, not even close. Like there's so much that happens in this episode, which we'll get into, but that you're just like, holy crap. Like they're taking this to another level, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. I also can't wait for my brother to watch this episode because he hasn't watched it yet. And
Has
by
he not
everyone's
watched it yet?
reactions, no, and he was so excited about this one.
He's gonna. I think he's gonna love it. I think it's
my
exactly what he wanted.
expectations were so high for this too, so I'm glad it met it. I was like 4 a.m. when I'm watching this. Am I gonna enjoy this? Guess what I did?
Crazy.
I'm also a morning person apparently. So anyway, cool. Well then we might as well dive into the episode because we all know we love it now, so we can just rave about it for the next 15 minutes. So was there anything y'all got in this episode that y'all weren't expecting like at all?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just gonna start. Okay, first of all, I knew to some extent we were gonna see some other MCU stuff. We were gonna see some sort of flashbacks, some sort of clips. I thought maybe, because obviously we know this is a Loki right after like at the end of the first Avengers movies.
Yeah.
So I knew everything was gonna in some extent, like I said, play out for him. I thought maybe they were gonna save that for like the series finale or something, to where he finds out he dies at the end, Thanos kills him and everything. They just fucking throw that at your face, first episode. And
it blew my mind.
Dude, to me, first of all, I absolutely was not expecting it, but to me, they set a high bar that I think they're gonna fucking exceed. Next episode, the episode after that, and the series finale, I think is just gonna be like crazy. If this is how they're starting the show, I think we're in for a ride. I
love too how it starts the entire show off of just literally going where it picks up exactly from Endgame.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Like he vanishes in Endgame and just straight into the desert.
Yeah, and it even shows, you even get to see that whole part from Endgame where Tony Stark's walking away with the briefcase, Hulk runs into him. Like you see that whole part again, and I was not expecting that at all.
I felt like I watched that part like 3 times today. Because did you guys watch the little what do they call it? The little 8-minute things they do for the Marvel Legends or whatever every time they release these.
No, I didn't.
No.
It's really good.
Didn't do it for the other ones either.
If you want to just have like a quick refresher, but it definitely showed that scene in it, and then they played it in the episode a couple times, and I was like, man,
yeah.
It's great though. I think it's cool that they kept showing that shot of the Avengers when they were looking through the flashbacks and like kind of just driving home like, you're a failure, Loki. And I'm like, that's an interesting topic to revolve this show around. I wasn't expecting that to be a thing that they kept coming back to. Like, let's show him how he didn't succeed at being what he wanted to be.
I thought the show, as in like the whole show, the entire season 1 was going to be one of those things where you have a dream and like an angel is by your side showing you what life could have been, or this or that.
Oh yeah.
And I thought we were going to go. Never seen it, but maybe. I don't know.
I think you'd love it.
Really? I'll watch it. I mean, I love the Grinch, so who knows? But yeah, so I thought that was going to happen over the entire first season, right? To where like, okay, we start with the events of like Avengers, then we go to like just as things Ragnarok, then Infinity War, then Endgame, whatever. I thought that was going to take place over the entire first season. And as he sees things like unfolding, whatever, he's like, yo, like what the fuck happens? How did I end up here? Because who Loki is in the first Avengers is completely not who he is by the end when Thanos just fucking.
That's it. That's what's so crazy about this, because he's already had like over the course of the MCU, he's had a full character arc, and now we're gonna see that kind of like furthered, but it's like starting off from a Loki that hasn't experienced all that yet. Which is wild. And it's also cool, like what you're saying, Omar. I love that they did it this way, because now we don't like, that's kind of the stuff you'd sort of guess, right? And I think we'd still like it if it would have went that way. But now all that's out the way at the end of the first episode. Like,
so you have no idea what to expect.
No idea what is going to happen next, and especially because we're dealing with this fucking like this whole multiverse thing, which, like Bailey said, they just slam that in your face when this episode starts. Like, they're not hiding it anymore. Like, this, what is the agency? The TVA, right? So that is who we're dealing with here, which is another thing. I know comic people probably have a better idea of where this is going, but like, there's so much going on here that is the future of the MCU, but not stuff that we really have a grasp on yet. And it's just, the door is wide open. I love it.
It's something that like most people who hadn't read all the comics fully would have never expected this to be like the next step. Because you get the multiverse as the thing, but you think of the multiverse as this magical like entity being type of thing where like it's just Doctor Strange opening portals and shit. Like you don't think of it as just like this
an agency
based like
so
it's a futuristic
cool.
agency, but it's got a 60s vibe to it, which is even cooler. I found that so cool, like the tone and the like design of this show so far.
Okay, wait. So it's cool that you
it.
said that, Bailey, because okay, you know when, which we haven't even talked about Owen Wilson yet. Incredible.
Oh, I'm bringing that up. Don't worry.
But you know when they're walking in the hallway and you get kind of like the first like shot of that this whole entire place, you know, when it kind of like peers through the window, it reminded me so much of like the novelization of 2001: A Space Odyssey. They kind of changed things up a little bit, but the whole part at the end when he's like tripping out, they like describe in more detail than they do in the movie, and they describe like this like train station for like dimensions. And just the visual, the way that looked in this episode just immediately gave me vibes of that. And I just, from that point on, I was like, this is so fucking cool. And so like, even just you saying it has like this weird 60s agency vibe, because obviously that's when that book would have been written. It just like, it all makes sense. Like, I feel like some of that has to be inspiration. It's so cool.
Oh, they are going to pull so much inspiration, I think, for the rest of this show from other things that we know outside of Marvel, which I think makes it even cooler. And yeah, bringing it up, Owen Wilson, I'm going to say it now, has been the best addition to the MCU ever.
Ever.
Now. And
when they added Captain America.
Statement.
No. I really want to say something about Owen Wilson. I the entire time I was watching him, just like his lines and his reactions and everything kept reminding me, which is gonna make no sense what I'm about to say, but kept reminding me of a version of Matthew like 20 years from now, like an older. I know that makes absolutely no sense, but I was like, dude, that's like Matthew right there in 20 years.
The funny thing is,
I hope.
It makes sense to us.
Yeah.
I can also see that.
Because can't y'all see if the multiverse was real and I could just get a fucking desk job with the multiverse, you know I would just be content doing it.
No. If that ever happened, I think you'd fucking go crazy. I think you'd go through I think you'd go insane.
I would, but we're talking. Would you say 20 years from now? I'd have my shit together.
Sure, you're right.
That's the thing. Like Owen Wilson's line delivery, his like comedic timing, it's always perfect, and he gets to play a character that's kind of like this snarky detective, which might be the best role for him at this point. And I'm only saying this based off of one episode, but he, like, not that the beginning was weak, but it did do that thing in the beginning where, like, they kept having to over-explain for the audience that doesn't know what's going on. Like, things were very hand-holdy the whole way through the beginning. So because of that, when Owen came in, all that kind of stopped. And, like, they got to just kind of riff off of each other. And I think that's when it started to, like, really, really hit for me. Like, that was the moment when I was like, oh, this is going to be, like, incredible.
Definitely. And real quick, because I don't think this is something we're going to talk too much more about, but the point you just brought up, how there's so much kind of, like, exposition and stuff at the beginning where they are having to, like, hold your hand. It's impressive how simplistic it still is, though, because I'm watching shows like, I'm watching The Expanse right now, where there's all kinds of politics and stuff going on, but there are so many just buzzwords, I guess you'd call them, like words that you don't really know what they mean. You just kind of have to learn them in the show. And like, I'll sometimes be thinking when I'm watching that show, like there's a whole sentence where like, if you just showed this to somebody that isn't watching this show, there's like 5 or 6 words in this sentence that they wouldn't even understand. So let alone have any idea what's going on. Whereas then you take a show like this and they're dealing with subject matter that's just as complex, but it's dumbed down in a way where you're not like losing your brain trying to follow it. And I feel like that's very vital when like they're stepping into the multiverse now. Like, don't lose people. I feel like the writers for the show must have had a very like delicate line they had to tread with stuff like that. And I feel like that's just very impressive, and that's just a testament to how the show hopefully is going to keep going.
So that's what's so interesting about this. It's like, if this is the show that's introducing in a more deep dive into the multiverse, they're picking a way to like show it in the most human possible aspect or way. Like it's such a complex idea that's introduced in such a simple way, and it's a really cool way of seeing that, because it's through the agency that has timekeepers or Minutemen, policemen kind of things, and they control time that gets changed. It's like the weirdest thing. I never would have thought it would be introduced like that, but it's also kind of genius, and I love it so far that it's being introduced like that.
I'm a sucker for agencies. I don't know why, but
it reminds me. Do you guys remember that movie with Emily Blunt and Matt Damon? What was it called? It was called The Time of Something, but it was pretty much that. There was like an agency. Nope.
The Time Traveler's Life.
I feel like we've seen it in theaters together, man. If I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it came out a while ago. Like, I'm talking about like
The Adjustment Bureau. This must be what you're talking about. I don't think I saw this though.
What?
Oh,
no. You guys.
Oh, wait, I did see this. We must have seen it together, dude.
We did see it together.
I don't think I've thought about this movie since then.
Well, there you go. It's a lot like that. It's an agency that controls time and things. It's exactly what Loki was saying. Well, not what Loki was saying. What Owen Wilson's character was explaining to him. Things that are meant to happen have to happen, and they're gonna just gonna keep happening over and over again because that's how they have to happen. And I'm very curious to see how they explore that, because Loki's Loki, right? There's no way on hell he's gonna take what he saw happens to him and just kind of go with it. Like, okay, this is how it ends for me. Like, I think he's gonna try to maybe alter something, change something, or do something to that extent. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how many episodes this season is. I'm sure you guys maybe have an idea.
I don't either, because I'm really bad at hosting.
I'm just very curious. Like, I'm very curious to see how it progresses.
I am too. You know what I also wanted to say while Matt looks this up? I think that, first of all, Owen Wilson's name is Mobius. I just looked it up.
Yes, Mobius.
I did not know that was his name. It's really, really cool.
This is what happens when you watch something at 4 a.m.
6 episodes, guys. 6 episodes.
What? 6 episodes?
What?
Was Falcon and Winter Soldier 7?
6.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was 6 too.
Oh no!
But here's the thing:
y'all are listening to this in real time of us realizing we only have 6 episodes to discuss. Okay,
I'm fine with it, especially if the episodes are all this length. I think that's
I'm
perfect.
fine with it too. It's just,
is it? Are they?
I don't know. That I don't know. But Falcon and Winter Soldiers all were around the 45 minute
around
mark,
40.
I think.
Yeah.
WandaVision was the one that really like played with shorter ones.
Yeah. It was longer though. So, but yeah, I mean, it's introduced so much things in the first, which I guess now it makes sense why they introduced so much already, because there's only 6 episodes. But the part where he's like realizing everything that's going on, he escapes and is trying to like get out of all this shit that like he's seeing, and he goes and finds the Tesseract again from that guy that goofy guy's in everything. I see that dude in everything, so shout out to him. I don't know his name, but but when he sees the Tesseract, and then he literally is like, y'all have Infinity Stones?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, we use them as like paperweights sometimes and stuff like that. And then you see him stand up and he has the realization. He goes, is this the most powerful thing in the world? Like, he's having this realization that everything they thought they knew wasn't real. Like, it didn't matter.
And that's
how
what's so
crazy is that to introduce into the first episode of a TV show? Like,
and that's why it's something as simple, because that literally happens when, like you're saying, he opens the drawer and just sees the Infinity Stones in there. But like, real talk, with everything we've learned about the MCU, the Infinity Stones are like the pillar of just power and existence. And so then for Loki, a god, to see just a drawer full of them, like, yeah, that would just break his brain and be like, okay, what do you got then? Because
it breaks our brain.
You know what I mean? And that's just so cool. I love that it's playing with stuff like that. I also feel like this is, it feels to me like the same little mini evolution as Ragnarok felt for Thor with Loki. And maybe I'm looking too much into it, but the humor here, just like, it reminded me of Ragnarok first off. And it also did the thing to me where, and this is just me personally, but Loki's never really been my favorite character. Like, I've never cared that much about him. I feel like I would have put him on the, you know what, same kind of thing with like Wanda and Vision. So of course they're doing the same kind of thing, but
oh yeah, get out of here with that shit.
How dare
I'm serious.
You?
I don't know why, and it's not that I didn't like him. I just, there was a lot of Loki for a long time, guys. There was Thor and Avengers, and he was just a villain in everything for a while. And so I think there was just too much of him. But this already was just my favorite stuff with him, like hands down.
Yeah,
and
easily.
and Tom Middleton is just hilarious too. Like he's really funny, and him and Owen Wilson's riffs off each other. I'm just gonna say it. Like I already am more sold on it and think it's funnier than Bucky and Falcon in Falcon Winter Soldier, which is weird because on paper I think that you probably would have assumed that they would have worked better than they did, and they did. I'm not even shitting on it, but it just, I love it. It just all meshes so well together, and it's the first episode, and maybe we're overreacting, but I'm with you guys where I'm so excited. I have no idea what's gonna happen, and that's why it's so exciting.
I wanted to bring up, this has nothing to do with the show, but you're talking about liking Loki so much. Do y'all remember when we went to go see? Was it Do you remember
the girl with the pop figure?
Yeah, with the shirt. We went to go see. Wait, it's not Infinity War. No, it is Infinity War. We went to see Infinity War, and this girl is like sitting in like the row next to us, wearing like a Loki t-shirt, like super excited, and then literally Loki dies within the first.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because that was like opening day.
3 minutes of the movie. That's like all I think about now with Loki. Like, God bless that poor girl. I feel really bad.
But you know what? She's having her moment now. So
I know. So it's your shine. It's your moment to shine, girl.
Definitely
Good for
is.
you. I hope she's listening to this. But anyway, so yeah, this show is already incredible. I'm blown away. I think we're probably riding the high of watching this today. Tomorrow we're gonna be like, oh man, maybe we.
I don't think so though, because honestly,
I really don't.
I didn't really feel that way after WandaVision. I didn't feel that way after Falcon Winter Soldier. Like I remember when we hopped on to talk about Falcon Winter Soldier, I had more than a few things to complain about. If you guys remember.
No, we do.
But with this, no, I mean this is completely like new territory for Marvel. We've never seen anything like this. Even dude, how have we not talked about the music?
The music, amazing,
incredible.
Thank you for bringing that up,
dude. We have not listen like anything like this in the MCU, and it's just amazing. It fits the characters so much.
Oh, more than I even realized, because we're talking about Space Odyssey. Like, talk about like sci-fi cool ass music, like Zenth music. Like it's so cool and not what I even thought Loki needed.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, this is Loki. This is the epitome of Loki. Right. I just think that's so cool. There's also, we're getting towards the end, so if there's anything else I want to throw it out. But we need to talk about the end of the show.
Yeah, so real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the little video they show that explains everything real simply, and the little, like, what's her name, like Miss Minutes or something, that got a kick out of me. And I just loved how simple that was, and it kind of was similar to just in Endgame where they're explaining the timeline stuff and it matched up. All of it feels cohesive and stuff. And also, for some reason, the scene that made me laugh the most was when he's like, obviously everything he's going through at the beginning is hilarious, but when he's just in that room, which for some reason I thought he was in line for a cafeteria because it looked like a cafeteria line where it was just him and that other guy, but it was when he was waiting to go to like his hearing. But funny. Everything that happened in that room, I don't know why I was laughing so hard at it, but I thought it was fucking hilarious when the guy's trying to find his ticket and he just gets vaporized. It's just great, man. I love it.
It disappears from existence. It's like, that's all right, you're done. Harsh. No, I completely agree. Is there anything you're missing before we talk about the end, Ohms?
No, I was just gonna say that I think Loki is one of those characters that can carry an entire show by himself, just from what we've seen in the MCU compared to like Wanda needs Vision, Falcon needs the Winter Soldier. They couldn't do it by themselves. Like I can't imagine an entire season where it's just one of those characters carrying the entire season. But Loki, I mean, dude, just like he's got so much charm and just so much like one-liners that work. So I'm really excited.
He's got a decent backstory to where you're just like, wow, there's just so much. Like they show that flashback of him being the guy who hijacked that plane. That's like a real thing.
That was hilarious too.
Yeah, that was funny.
But that was like, and the guy was like, "You were him." Like it's just, you can play so much with stuff like that with Loki's character, which is awesome. So also, I agree with that.
Last thing I wanted to say, because we talked about Owen Wilson, but he seems to me like just a loose cannon. He can go from like he would dial it up out of nowhere in this episode. Like he was just so friendly, but then he would just be like, you gotta stop, or like he'd use the fucking like switch on him and shit. And I feel like I don't know where his character is gonna go, but it could be terrifying, I think. Because Owen Wilson has the range to fucking do it.
So coming to the end, we have the team. They either they've been called the TVA Minutemen or the Timekeepers. Timekeepers seems a little cooler. Minutemen's also cool though, so I don't know. Pick and choose, out there, pick and choose. But so I love when Omar's like facial expression always reacts to what I say. The person that we have, I looked it up. Her name's her lady who's like watching over him. Hunter B-15. Cool. That's like a cool name.
Sounds like a Star Wars name.
Yeah.
Their whole idea of the Timekeepers is really cool. So I hope that gets explored more and we get to see that more. But then when they get to the point where they're hunting down this like entity, or I can't remember what they called him, a variant. They called him a variant. This variant that keeps killing all of them anytime they go try and stop the person from messing up the timeline. And then you see the end where whoever it's supposed to be, and they believe it's Loki actually being the variant that they need, the current Loki they have to go stop. Which I think it was interesting that they didn't show him.
Yes.
Because that means it might not be Loki, which I think
I've
that's
got a
really
theory.
cool.
I've got a...
Let's hear it, because I
we'll
agree.
get to
Not
that.
showing his face, that was an easy just
very
reveal at the
interesting.
end. So,
But that's the thing, like, the way they did it by just, like, setting them all on fire, I'm just like, this is a very not Marvel thing to
Right.
do.
Yeah, they were
And
just-
I found that
That's the
very,
keyword
very
right
cool. But what's your theory? Let's go with
Well,
theories, guys.
Okay, well,
end
there
this
you
with
go.
theories.
You said not Marvel. This isn't Marvel. And I'm just gonna throw back to what was it? Last Jedi. You guys remember where there was where they were showing when it was a younger Kylo and a younger Luke Skywalker, and the students were like escaping, and there was a fire and everything. He had the fucking hood on.
Mhm.
And this is on the same streaming service as The Mandalorian, where we just saw Luke in the hood.
You think
So
this is a
Luke.
crossover thing?
That's all I'm saying. I think it's Luke Skywalker.
You
Omar's
think
not
Luke-
closing the door on it.
Nope.
You think Luke
Absolutely not.
Skywalker?
It's one of two characters. In all seriousness, it's either Luke Skywalker or Tobey Maguire.
There it is.
I rest my case. Done. I'm done.
Toby was going to be my guess. No lie,
Wait,
Toby
really?
was going to be my guess.
Oh,
No,
my
Hey, at
God.
least there's a 0.001% chance that it could be Tobey Maguire or Andrew
This
Garfield.
could be what Elizabeth Olsen was talking about.
be.
The cameo, the Luke Skywalker like cameo. This is it.
Oh my God! Wait, that
Zan,
that
Omar
actually
connected
piqued
every
my
dot
interest.
just now. Every dot.
you know, he always throws something crazy out there, and at first I think it's crazy, and then he reels me in, and I'm like, you know what, you got me.
It's what
I'm
I
on
do.
board with this. But yeah, no, I think all seriousness, it's Tobey Maguire. No, I'm kidding. All seriousness, I think that this is gonna end up being something different. Like I
Yeah,
think this is
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
But
not
what,
be
though?
Loki. I really couldn't even say like maybe I don't know, Rocket.
What?
I don't know. I'm like thinking of obscure characters now. I really don't
He
know.
doesn't even fit that
so they've
height.
already
he does.
they've already confirmed.
He's on like Groot's shoulders or something.
I don't know, man. I'm throwing out whatever I can at this point. I think they already confirmed that Mephisto is not going to show up in this show.
Yes, they did. Which, if I don't know if y'all caught it, but there was a really funny reference, or not even a reference, but when you first see Owen Wilson and he's talking to that girl and drawing the little stick figure, and there's like a stained glass, and he's like, "Who did this?" And she pointed, and it's just a demon, and it's like,
Yeah.
are they talking to Mephisto? And I was reading because the director / writer, I can't remember her name, Kate something. She already came out and was like,
Kate Herron.
Mephisto's not in this because there's so many rumors online. She's like, there's no Mephisto in this. And then I was reading an interview from today where she's like, yeah, right around the time everybody on Twitter was like freaking out about Mephisto for WandaVision, we had already filmed this scene, which is just supposed to be a devil with horns that is honestly supposed to reference Loki. And she was like, in my head, I thought that this is going to be interesting when this episode comes out because people are going to jump that it's Mephisto. But
Yeah,
apparently
because
it's
I
not.
can say my first guess wasn't Loki. Like when she
Yeah.
pointed to the
Yeah.
demon. It'll be interesting to see who it is, though. I have no theories currently because I didn't think too hard about it because it was 4 a.m. But I will have a theory for the next episode.
I like it. Yes.
I think my guess is that it is Loki, but it's just, I don't know. Like if you were to say like it's dark Loki, it's not dark Loki, but there's so much with like shape shifting and like dimensional change and stuff that's referenced in this show that I just wouldn't be surprised if it's some alternate Loki or some just crazy, like maybe he is like more devilish or something. I don't know. And I think they're just not ready to show him to us yet. But that's my guess, is that it is still in fact Loki, but just some weird different version of him.
I hope it's like he comes out in a whole different color, like how Vision did. Like Loki comes out and he's just like purple, but he's like all purple.
It's like, bam!
I would enjoy that. I'd be like, they got me. All right, well, I think we can wrap this puppy up. Wouldn't y'all say?
Yes, ma'am.
Same time, place.
We'll
next
be back. Same time, same place next week. But you know, until then, what's that thing they say? Don't hesitate to let us know how we're doing.